So this student did a presentation in front of his class and teacher about feminism. It's definitely an interesting one.
The definition of feminism is equality between men and women, if you look it up on Google.
That's what Google says.
In this presentation, I'm going to prove to you that in 2016 is not the case. There was a first wave of feminism, the suffragettes, who campaigned for the vote and for equality, and then there was second wave feminism in around the 60s, campaigning for equality in domestic gender roles and things like that. So, and then recently there's been a third wave feminism, who have consistently lied about things. For example, the wage gap between men and women. That is a lie. 77 cents to the dollar is a lie. It doesn't take into account the different hours worked by men and women on average in jobs. It doesn't take into account the different jobs that men and women do. And it doesn't take into account many, many other factors. Once you factor all these in, it is statistically irrelevant, that the wage gap. This is just one example of the lies that have been perpetrated by modern third wave feminism.
So he definitely knows his stuff. You can tell he's a bit awkward. His friends feel a bit awkward because he's standing up to this sort of thing, and you can't do that in these times. And the fact that a student's doing it in front of his classmates and teacher, he's a brave kid.
Now, they've also created a rape culture that they've put on society, that they've said, oh, there is a rape culture in the society. In Western civilization, there is no rape culture. We put rapists in prison, and rapists, even if wrongly accused, their lives are ruined. They hate free speech. They don't like it when their opinions are challenged. They try to ban words like bossy, and they try to ban things on Twitter. They try to ban people from having their opinion. They don't like other people's opinions.
Soon as they're challenged about anything, or you have an opinion on the matter, you will get quickly shut down, or laughed at, or cancelled.
The imbalances on people have flipped, and feminism says that it's about equality, but I've never once seen a feminist campaign against the fact that, on average, women, if they rape a man, they get 2 years, 3 years in jail. But if it happens the other way around, it's 20 years. Surely, if they're about equality, shouldn't it be the same for both genders?
Yeah, they ain't going to talk about that. That's for sure.
Other flip gender imbalances include not really flip, but gender imbalances include the massive suicide rate of men under 30. I've never heard a feminist or a third wave feminist once speak about how bad this is. It's not about equality. It's not. It's about lying.
Again, he's spot on with that. As well as YouTube, I currently work in a security firm, and I come across a lot of vulnerable people, and 90% of it is men. And the people who actually do what they're there to do is the men. It's just never talked about. It's never really taken serious, unfortunately. So yeah, he's completely right. They never bring that up.
Thank you very much. Any questions?
They're scared.
Would you consider yourself a feminist?
No, Harry, I would not, because I don't believe... Well, I believe in equality, but I don't believe in feminism, because I believe that that's not about equality.
What's the biggest lie told by third wave feminists
Well,
that you haven't mentioned already?
That I haven't mentioned already?
Yes.
They have lied about... Well, the main really important ones are the ones that I've already mentioned, but they often use singular cases of rape to sort of get out the word of, oh, we need awareness for this thing, so they lie about it. But surely if they're lying about it to get awareness, that's getting awareness of the fact that sometimes people lie.
I mean, look at Andrew Tate, for example, with that whole situation. The women are seen partying and laughing and drinking in his house. And then the accusations came. He went to prison for a while and then came home. He was on house arrest. And there is zero evidence. His whole life's been flipped upside down just through accusations.
Any more questions?
So, originally, feminism was created because there was an imbalance.
Yeah.
And originally, it was the imbalance between men and women. The idea now is not feminism being an imbalance of gender, but being equality of all. You talk a lot about men versus women. But what about people who call themselves transgender? What about people that perhaps don't identify with a gender at all?
In relation to what?
How they should be perceived by society.
All this teacher's doing is trying to throw him a curveball to try and catch him out with something. It's not even in relation to what he's talking about.
Do they not count in the idea of feminism?
Well, no, because feminism, if you look up the definition, which if you ask a feminist, they'll always refer you to, is about the push for women's rights and equality between men and women.
If I call myself a feminist, I wouldn't say that I battle for the rights of women. I would say I battle for the rights of equality. So when we talk about the shift of language and definitions, is it not fair to say that definitions shift and change depending on the need within society?
Well, just because you say you are something doesn't mean that that's what the movement is about. So I could say that I'm a radical jihadist, doesn't mean that I'm a radical jihadist. Or because you can say that you're something, but the movement doesn't necessarily represent that. If you say that you're about equality for all, then most of feminism isn't about equality for all.
Keep the camera still.
Between men and women. That's what modern feminism is about. For example, with the wage gap, they haven't. When they give you the wage gap statistics, 77 cents to the dollar, they don't mention other people who may not identify with the gender or people who identify themselves as trans. So that's the main thing that I'm fighting.
Okay. So I would say that there is equally a disparity between class systems. There is, so if you are born into a certain class of family, your income equates to a certain amount. And that's purely with how you're born, which is a very similar thing to do with gender. Do you think that that is as much of an issue, if not more so, or less so, than gender inequality?
Like I said, she's just throwing a load of rubbish at him. She doesn't obviously agree with his views on feminism, that's for sure. She's asking a question, but it's not relevant to what he's talking about.
Well, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about gender inequality and how it's misrepresented by feminism because they're saying that they're for gender equality when they're actually not.
Okay, so what are your thoughts on inequality in general, including the class system?
Well, ideally, I would like to eradicate all inequalities, but I'm not going to do that by calling myself a feminist.
Well played, mate. Well played, mate. This kid's gonna go places. He just outsmarted the teacher. She really thought she was saying something in that presentation, but it had nothing to do with what he was talking about. I wonder where this kid is now. He's probably building rockets with Elon Musk. And I think what you'll see is a lot of women will actually agree with what he's saying, because the feminism we see today, a lot of women don't agree with it, and they'll happily stay at home, taking care of the household, the kids, while you deal with burglars trying to break into your home, going to fight wars. But let me know your thoughts on his presentation. Let me know in the comments.